What's up, y'all? I got a slightly different kind of video here for you. In this process of trying to make some different videos that aren't just the reading logs I can talk about comics, I thought I'd bring these. I think these, I don't know if I'm going to call it hidden gems or underrated, but you'll probably tell. There'll be a title on this. It'll make sense. But I wanted to just highlight some other books that maybe talk about them longer than like the 2 or 3 minutes I give them in my reading logs. Ideally, these are going to be about books that you haven't heard of, as my dream. So, not a lot of like mainstream titles here. I'm trying to pick things that I don't know people are reading, and I'm not like super tapped into comics, so if I pick this, everybody's like, "Yo, everybody's heard of this. We're all reading this already. You fool!" Then that's my bad. I'm not super locked in, but these ones that just I don't see much discussion about that I think deserve a shout out. Just good stuff. What I got here is Tyler Cross. It's the same creative team in both books. Fabian Nuri and Bruno, the one-name artist. These are published by Titan Comics. As far as I know, these are the only ones in the series, at least in English. I know Titan Comics sometimes does some European stuff, or is mostly European stuff. Who's to say? But they make these really nice hardcovers. I got these both used and very cheap by used books. It's the way to do it. These are crime books. I've been in a little bit of a crime renaissance, genre-wise, in my reading. Been reading a lot of like Ed Brubaker stuff and lots of different crime things. And this kind of came in the very beginning of that. And it's like a classic tale in the way that Tyler Cross is just like one of these crime characters where it like kind of doesn't matter the situation. Like, he's the character that gets dropped into the situation. You know what I mean? It's not like a chronological path where you got to know what happened before, what happened after. It's very episodic, very like case by case. You actually don't need to read either of these in any order, even though this one came out first. I'm fairly certain. We follow him. All we know is that his name's Tyler Cross and that he's very good at being a criminal. It doesn't really go much into like we don't know how he got started. We don't know where he's from, really. We don't know anything about this guy. Other than that, he's good, and he's about to take on this job, and he's got a bad feeling about it, which is great. Bruno's art really brings a lot to this. I love the cartoony style that he brings, And I don't mean to say cartoony is to put it down, because I love this, dude. If every comic was drawn this way, I wouldn't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the style that Bruno has really helps with these books because the content of these books is actually, pretty tough and dark, dude. Like, some pretty terrible things happen here. And because of Bruno's style, it brings some, like, levity to it. So I don't just feel, like, fucking miserable reading about this guy doing all these things. It's great. If you've read The Sixth Gun, I think Brian Hartstyle also does the same thing. Where, like, in that book, Cullen Bunn is writing it. The horror aficionado, Cullen Bunn, is writing it, but Brian Hart's style can make it more like approachable, especially for a guy like me who's not trying to get spooked. I'm not trying to leave a book feeling miserable, but I can still have these like dramatic crime, classic stuff. I mean, look at this, dude. Kissing the girl in front of the flaming car. What are we talking about, man? This is good stuff. But basically, the pitch of each of these stories is Tyler goes on a job. Something terrible happens during the job, and he gets absolutely screwed over. And so he has to like run away. He walks into this small town and he's got to find a way back. But there's these forces in the small town, these like powerful people who like he doesn't want them to figure out who he is and who are they and why are they doing this and how could they get his stuff. So there's a lot of different like big personalities, let's say, at play in each of these books. He shows up somewhere and you kind of meet all the characters, you get to know everybody, and then the real story begins, right? Like, although it starts with something going wrong for him, the real story begins after that, which is true in both these books, which I think makes it really, I don't know. I like seeing the main character, especially when it's a guy like Tyler Cross, who we know is good, where we see him, like, lose, It starts with him losing. Something went wrong, it didn't work, and then I feel like we really get to, like, explore this character and see why he's so good, bro, why he's still in the game. Because it's, if it was me and all this stuff happened, I probably would have caved by now. But he's Tyler Cross. Remember the fucking name, dude. Put some respect on it. He's not giving up. He's going to get out of this, even though the situation continues to get worse and worse. It's a great time. I'll flip to the other one a little bit, too. Part of also what I really love about these books, I'm a big fan whenever we get like a European writer who takes interest in telling like a really American story. Like both these stories take place in really small town, like southern, middle of nowhere type of places, you know? And I like Garth Ennis did this with Preacher, obviously too, where he was like so interested in like the American South and like all this crazy stuff that could happen there. And even though I'm an American, grew up in America my whole life, it feels like an exploration of this different world, you know? Like sometimes in these books, to have this feeling of escape, they try and bring you to these places that you can't see as like an average person. You know what I'm saying? They want to bring you to these beautiful like mountainscapes or like to this place that doesn't even feel real. And he does that in kind of like a twisted way. You know what I mean? Like you see how like nasty and terrible some of this could be, and it doesn't like I know it's happening in America, but there's like a fantasy, not really fantasy, but like just his version of America is like this twisted version, but it's not the one that you know. You know what I mean? It's like it's very interesting. But yeah, Bruno's art is so sick, dude. This one is a little bit different. Same thing, something terrible happens to him. I don't know if we know exactly what it is at the start of the story, but he ends up in jail in Angola. Is that what this one is? Yeah, Angola. The middle of nowhere, southern town, and he goes into jail, and we kind of see how he schemes to get out, because this is not going to be the end of Tyler Cross. And this jail is like, everybody's crooked, the cops are crooked, they're just like beating the shit out of people, they're inhumane, and the whole thing. And we kind of get to see his scheme. How's he going to get out of this one? It's a great time, man. These books aren't super long, as you could see earlier. You know, pretty reasonably sized. I really enjoyed it. I think that it really takes advantage of that like European paneling, you know, slightly bigger pages. A lot of pages have this like, I don't know how many panels this is, like 12. Oh, nice. Right on the money. But high panel count pages. Bruno's art makes it super clear. Everything is very, very clear. I understand what's happening all the time. I think that Fabian Nuri's writing is really, I don't want to say like takes a back seat, but he just knows how to kind of pick his spots, you know? He speaks really well from the characters. There's not a bunch of like narration, which in these crime books there definitely can be a lot, but not in here. So we never get inside Tyler's head. We never really know what he's thinking, which makes him even like more dangerous and seem even more conniving in all of these spots. It's really, really well done. It says on the front here that he does lots of other books. I haven't checked any of them out. But, I mean, I was pretty pleased with his writing. Again, the subject matter is kind of the hardest part for me. Like, obviously, it's a crime book and bad things happen, but we, like, really lead into, like, some awful people between these two books. And I'm not built like that, bro. Like, if bad things happen to people, and I'm watching them on these pages, I feel bad. So, you know, that's the hardest part of it for me. But kind of when you get in that situation where everybody's bad, it kind of unlocks this mode for your character to be in where, like, these people are so bad that he can do bad shit to them and still be the hero in my eyes, right? So, like, Tyler Cross, definitely not a good guy. They make that really clear immediately. But because the people that he's around are worse, it feels okay for me as the reader to be rooting for him to beat these guys by any means necessary, which is fun. It's fun. You know, I think that if every book I read was like this, it'd be really hard for me. I'm gonna skip through some of this. Ooh. But I mean, it's pretty rad, man. And Bruno, I know he does a couple other books. I gotta be careful because there's some crazy stuff that comes up. This book. Bruno is a very, very talented artist that I think has another like graphic novel that I have not read, but I'm really interested in him. I feel like I pretty much got season tickets as long as it's in English, you know. I'll go and buy a Bruno book. I think he's very talented. I just wish that we had more comics kind of utilizing this style in like across genres. You know what I mean? I feel like you can get a lot of these that kind of like Chris Ware stuff. But it's not like, I don't know, it feels very specific. This feels like it's been kind of adopted by some of the artsy-fartsy comics, which I'm not a huge fan of. I still like, you know, adventure and action and excitement in all my books. I like for it to not always feel just like day-to-day stuff, you know, some kind of thrilling element. It always means a lot to me. Yeah. Anyway, Tyler Cross, I think it deserves a shout out. I think more people should know about this book. It's good, man. It's very much like a crime book in the mold of Parker. If you read Parker, not to compare the two, because I know that Parker is like a holy grail for a lot of people. But I definitely think that it's if you like that book, you should definitely give these a shot. I think Tyler Cross is underrated, and I think more people should read it. And I hope you do. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you got some underrated books, and you know what, sticking to the theme, if you got an underrated crime book that I should read, if you could leave it in the comments. I'm always looking for ways to burn money on comic books. Please please leave a comment. I appreciate you for watching all the way to the end. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.